Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Christie. I'm a real estate agent in the Orlando area, and today's topic will be the pros and cons living in Orlando. Let's get to it. Welcome back to my channel. I know today's topic is on the pros and cons. So we're gonna focus on the cons right now. Let me mention, I've been living in Orlando for 4 months. So this is more like a 4 months perspective. Obviously, when the time passes and a year from now, my perspective might change. But these are probably like common cons that you probably heard before, but I feel like it's important to mention. Something that I've noticed as well living here for 4 months. And like I mentioned, my perspective might change within a year, but let's just get to it. Number one con, I would say, is the driving. And what I mean by driving, I mean people here drive insane. Scary at the same time, you know? Any time of the day you see so many car crashes is insane and pretty sad. It's not just one car collision, 2 car collisions. There are times you see 5 car collisions. Like, that's insane. Are these people practicing for like a movie, an action movie, NASCAR? Like, I'm so confused. Because where I'm from, up north, people do drive pretty insane. But I think Florida won. I would have to say. And I actually lived in North Carolina before I moved to Florida. And people drive nuts over there as well. But I think Florida won. I have to give it to Florida. It's pretty insane. So if you do decide to move to the Orlando area, come visit, or even South Florida, or any parts of Florida, just be very careful how you drive. You know, now that's anywhere, honestly. But people drive crazy here. And 2, again, driving. When people say you have to drive here, they ain't lying. You have to drive. I mean, like, you could be at Target and then you want to go to Staples. That's another 20 minutes. And then when you're in Staples, let's say you want to grab something to eat. That's another 20 minutes. And then you're there and you're like, you know what? Let me go for a quick workout. That's a 30-minute drive. Like, you got to drive here. It's pretty insane. I have never drove so much in my life. Not even in North Carolina where I lived. We drove, but not like here. So yes, they was not lying about your driving. You do have to drive here. So keep that in mind. The third con would have to be the creatures. Like, there's so many different type of bugs here. Bugs that I never knew existed. Some of them, a lot of them are safe, you know, safe bugs. They don't do no harm. I think where I live right now, there's a snake, literally pretty big snake roaming around. He's just chilling. You know, he's visiting every building. He's not poisonous, according to the email I received. So you will find a lot of stuff like that. Snakes, you know, roaming around. I even heard alligators roaming around. That's rare, but it happens. It definitely happens. Bears. I remember a story that was told to me from someone that lives here, that a bear actually walked into a woman's house while she was in the bathroom and she heard noises. So it's stuff like that. There's a lot of unique things that happen here when it comes to, like, you know, creatures or animals. You will find that, especially if you're from up north like me. The closest thing to a bug would be like a roach, and it's like this small. See, the roaches here is like this big. And they fly. So if you're from up north, you're not really used to like the bugs and the creatures, and it's different. It's very different. Something that you will have to get used to. It's not a bad thing. The creatures can either be a pros and a cons, depending on the person that you are. If you do like, you know, stuff like that. There's people that really do love bugs. And the last one will be tourists. The tourists. I'm gonna be really honest with you. Ever since I moved here 4 months ago, I could imagine when everything happened about a year ago, the tourists did slow down. I don't experience a lot of traffic when it comes to tourists or anything like that. Even though there's more tourists coming now, I do see a lot of people. I do see a lot more now than when I first moved here. I could imagine when it starts picking up, it will not be like the best experience being stuck in traffic. When you're at Disney, you gotta be in line for like 2 hours unless you get the fast pass. Definitely the tourists. I haven't experienced anything as of yet, like I mentioned, because of the situation. But I know once it picks up, you will be able to experience the actual tourists. And actually, where I live is pretty much the heart of Disney. I don't live far from Disney, SeaWorld. SeaWorld is in my backyard. I don't live far from Universal. So I could imagine when tourists starts really hitting here pretty hard, the traffic's going to be insane. So yes, tourists. So now let's get to the pros. The pros, the first one is the weather. I mean, come on. When you think of Florida, you just like think of sandy beaches and you think of the beautiful weather and sunny. It is beautiful here. But I am going to be honest. I know everyone always talks about the hot weather and it's beautiful. Especially, I'm only going to speak for Orlando. I'm not going to speak for any other cities in Florida. But in Orlando, it does get a bit cold between December and January. I think the coldest it was in December, the lowest it was at night and even in the morning was like 39 degrees. So yes, it does get cold, but I would take this over the snow any day. So regardless of that, December and January, when it gets a little chilly, we have to wear a sweater, maybe a jacket. Other than that, like right now, it's beautiful. I think this whole week is going to be the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, 70, 80s. So it's beautiful. I'll take this any day, any day. So yes, that's one. Second pro, I would say, is there's so many things to do. That's pretty insane. So much that eventually I know I'm going to get tired of doing things. And I could imagine like so many people that have been living here for so long, they just probably drive by Disney and just be like, whatever. I know eventually that's gonna be me. But other than that, there's so many things to do. There's so many towns within Orlando, that you can go explore. Different art galleries, restaurants, cafes. It's just insane. You'll never get bored here. You could wake up in the morning and be like, yo, I wanna go scuba diving, go to SeaWorld. Even with the situation that's going on right now, there's still so many things to do. A lot of things have changed when it comes to certain things. Like you gotta wear your mask at all times at certain parks and stuff like that. So yes, there's so many things to do. So the third one would be, which kind of correlates with the second one that I just mentioned about so many things to do, is because we are in the middle, and I'm referencing to Orlando, because we are in the middle of Florida. If you really think about it, you are in the middle of a lot of major cities. So many beaches around you. So if you want to go to Tampa, it's only an hour and 20 minutes. If you want to go to Coa Beach, only an hour and 20 minutes. If you go to Daytona, only an hour and 30 minutes. You want to go to Jacksonville, it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. You want to go to Miami, 3 hours and 30 minutes. You're literally in the middle. So you're not far from any of those major cities, where if you want to go for a weekend to Jacksonville, you could drive up, stay in a hotel. If you want to go to Miami for a week, you can do that because you're right in the middle. Even though if you live in Jacksonville, I'm pretty sure you will drive to Miami, but that's extra 4 hours. So I definitely would say that's the third one, is that you're in the middle of all major cities, which is pretty cool. So the last one, which is kind of in between pros and cons, which I would say is the housing market. The housing market here is booming. I know many people have their perspective about the housing market. A lot of people say that the housing market is going up. It's becoming the next New York, the next California, because everyone is moving here. Yes, of course. Prices are going up. But if you think about it on a bigger perspective, if you're an investor, you invest in a property right now in this moment, depending on your numbers, obviously, and depending on your goals, and let's say 5 years from now, because Orlando it's becoming a very booming market, and of course depends if the market don't crash, but I don't know, that's a topic for a different day. The value can go up because the market's going up. And also, you get a lot for your money. I know so many people that lived here for a long time and they see the market change, so they think, oh my god, so expensive, so expensive. But when you come from up north, where a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 home it's how can I say it? You can purchase a home here, 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, underground pool for like 500,000, maybe 6. Back where I'm from, that type of price, 500, 600, you're not getting no underground pool. No, you're not. You're getting backyard, maybe a little bigger than that. Maybe, and I'm referencing to where I'm from. So yes, that's the pros and cons. Like I mentioned, it is my perspective. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, my perspective might change after living here for more than a year and a half. If it did, I will most definitely do a video on it and how my perspective have changed over the course of the year. Please leave a comment below and what you think about the housing market right now. Should people buy? Should people sell? Should people invest? Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Please, please, please make sure to like my video, share my video to anyone that's looking to move or want to learn a little bit more about Florida. Please share. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, support, and hit the notification button. So when I do release new content, you will be the first one to receive it. So thank you again, and have a good night, have a good day, have a good morning, wherever you're from, wherever you live. Thank you again.